Hello everyone, welcome to another explanation video of your English book, that is Beehive, and we are going to learn today part 2 of the chapter Sound of Music, that is the Shehnai of Bismillah Khan. I think all of you know this famous name that is Bismillah Khan, isn't it? He is also known as Shehnai Master. Okay, so today we will learn about Bismillah Khan, about his life and how he get engaged, how he become the master of Shehnai. Emperor Aurangzeb banned the playing of a musical instrument called pungi in the royal residence, for it had a shrill, unpleasant sound. So what happened when Emperor Aurangzeb, his rules are there, okay, when he was ruling at a time, he banned the playing of a musical instrument in his royal court, that is pungi. Okay, so pungi is a kind of instrument which is basically used to play by the musicians in the royal court. Okay, and why he forbade the playing of this musical instrument? Because this musical instrument had a very shrill and unpleasant voice. Very shrill and unpleasant sound means it doesn't sounds good. Okay, shrill means very high pitched, okay, which our ears doesn't like, you can say. And because it has a very unpleasant sound, and because of this reason, Emperor Aurangzeb banned the playing of this musical name. Pungi is famous as a reeded noisemaker. Now what is the meaning of reeded? Okay, generic name means a name given to a class or group as a whole. So pungi, this instrument is not considered as a very pleasant sound or pleasant music instrument. Okay, and reeded means wind instrument will have reed like flute, the clarinet. Like reeded means what? Those instruments which had holes and with which we can play by blowing the wind, which basically blow by your mouth. Okay, so those kind of instruments are basically called reeded. So it become the name of a noisemaker. Pungi is well known as a noisemaker instrument. Few had thought that it would one day be revived, and few of the musicians, they thought that it need to be revived, means it need to renovate. Okay, a barber of a family of professional musician who had access to the royal palace decided to improve the tonal quality of the pungi. So what happened? One day a barber, okay, his family is a musician, professional musician. Okay, he thought to improve the tonal quality of this instrument, that is pungi. Okay, so what he did, he chose a pipe with a natural hollow stem. So he selected a pipe with a natural hollow stem, like a bamboo pipe, okay, which was longer also and broader than the pungi. And then after, he made 7 holes on the body of the pipe. Okay, and when he played on it by opening and closing of those holes, at a time soft and melodious sounds comes out from that instrument. Then after, he played for a trial. Okay, for trial he played the instrument before the royalty, in the royal court. At that time, everyone get impressed by hearing its tonal quality. It was so melodious and so pleasant to hear that new revived instrument. The instrument, so different from the pungi, had to be given a new name. So actually that instrument was the reincarnation, or you can say the renovation of that pungi, right? Yeah, so everyone thought that the sound of this instrument and the sound of pungi is so different, so better to give it a new name. As the story goes, so according to that, the story goes that since it was first produced in it was first played in the Shah Darbar, that is Shah chamber, and was played by a nai, that is a barber. The barber is an English word, yeah, but in Hindi what we say to barber, nai, isn't it? So that's why the name goes for the new instrument as Shehnai. Okay, in this way the Shehnai instrument get its name. So here is a picture given. You can see how different pungi and Shehnai both are. Next, paragraph 2. The sound of the Shehnai began to be considered auspicious. Auspicious meaning is given, promising to bring good fortune, like luck, lucky, what you can say, good luck. Okay. So the sound of the shehnai is so pleasant that later on the people considered it to be a very lucky instrument, or a very good, which brings good luck to your life. Okay. And for this reason it is still played in temples as an indispensable component of any North Indian wedding, and still now in some of the temple you will hear this shehnai. Okay. And in the North Indian, and not only North Indian, it is here giving North Indian, but basically in the South Indian weddings also it is an very indispensable means important part no, of the weddings. Yes. In the past the shehnai was the part of naubat or tradition. Naubat means it is a traditional ensemble of 9 instruments. Means what happened in royal court, 9 instruments are basically played, and shehnai was also one of them, and that is why it is called naubat. Okay. Until recently it was used only in temples and weddings. Until now also you will see that this instrument is basically played in temples and weddings also. The credit for bringing this instrument into the classical stage goes to Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. Earlier this instrument was simply played, okay, simply played in royal court, okay, or in temples or weddings. But Bismillah Khan, Ustad Bismillah Khan was the one who gave a new way to this instrument. He bring this instrument to the classical stage. He introduced this with the classical stage. The number 3, paragraph number 3, as a 5-year-old Bismillah Khan played gilli danda near a pond in the ancient state of Dumrao in Bihar. So Bismillah Khan, when he was 5-year-old, then at the time Bismillah Khan used to play gilli danda near a pond in the ancient state of Dumrao, which is in Bihar. Okay. He would regularly go on to the nearby Bihariji temple to sing the Bhojpuri Chaita, and at the end of which he would earn a big laddu weighing 1.25 kg, a prize given by the local Maharaja. So at the time what happened, he regularly go to near Bihariji temple to sing Bhojpuri Chaita, like we have our own kirtans and all. Yeah, in SMS we have Naam Gukha, like that. So in different places there are different way of worship. Okay, different songs are there which weight 1.25 kg as a prize, which is given at that time by the local Maharaja. Okay. This happened 80 years ago, and this is the story which happened 80 years ago, and the little boy has travelled far to earn the highest civilian award in India, the Bharat Ratna. And that little boy has earned one day the highest civilian award, that is the Bharat Ratna. Born on 21 March 1916, Bismillah belonged to a well-known family of musicians from Bihar. So Bismillah Khan, he was born on 21st March 1916, and Bismillah Khan belonged to a well-known musician family which is from Bihar. Okay. So his grandfather name is Rasul Baksh Khan. He was the Shehnai Nawaz of Bhojpur King's Court. So keep this in mind, or you can underline in your book, very important. So his grandfather was the Shehnai Nawaz of the Bhojpur King Court, and his own father Paigambar Baksh, and other paternal ancestor, you can say his own paternal uncle, like his father's own brother, elder brother, younger brother, whoever, they were also great Shehnai player. Not only his grandfather, his father and other paternal ancestors were also great Shehnai player. So that is why it is said that the Bismillah Khan belongs from a well musician family. Okay. So let's move to next page, page number 23. The young boy took to music early in life. That young boy, he learned music in his very early life. At a very small age, he learned music. Why? Because his family is a musician. His family is a professional musician. He obviously he will get engaged with music, right? At the age of 3, when his mother took him to his maternal uncle's house in Banaras, now Varanasi, Bismillah was fascinated watching his uncle practice the shehnai. So when Bismillah Khan was of 3 years old. At a time his mother took him to her house, that is his maternal house. Yeah, maternal means mama ke ghar. Yeah, maternal house, which is in Banaras. So earlier it was called Banaras, now the name is Varanasi. So Bismillah Khan, he was very very fascinated, means he felt very very amazed to see his uncle, even his maternal uncle, to practice Shehnai. So not only his paternal ancestor families are musicians, professional musicians, but his maternal ancestors are also, maternal family, ancestor families are also good in this one Shehnai, means a professional Shehnai player. Then soon Bismillah started accompanying his uncle Ali Baksh. So then after soon Bismillah Khan, he giving company to his uncle Ali Baksh to the Vishnu temple of Banaras, where Ali Baksh was employed to play the Shehnai. Okay, so earlier what happened, the temple, not only earlier, now also, if you go to this kind of places where like south, or you can go to Banaras or somewhere like that. So in some of the temple you will always find some people who play music, play some instrument. So they are actually employed. In the same way, then Ali Baksh would play the Shehnai and Bismillah would sit captivated for hours on end. And Ali Baksh used to play the Shehnai and Bismillah Khan, he sit for hours on end, and he always watch how his uncle. Slowly he started getting lessons in playing the instrument and would sit practicing throughout the day. Then slowly, day by day, he started to take lessons of how to play Shehnai, and then after he used to practice all through the day. Okay, for years to come, the temple of Balaji and Mangal Maya and the bank of the river Ganga become the young apprentice's favorite haunt, where he could practice in solitude. So in this way, while he practiced, in this way years also passed, and his favorite place of practicing, okay, Shehnai, is the temple of Balaji and then temple of Mangal Maya and the bank of the river Ganga. It become his favorite place where he practiced in solitude and by heart. Okay, the flowing water of the Ganga inspired him to improvise and invent ragas that were early considered to be beyond the range of the Shehnai. And the sound of the river Ganga, okay, the sound of the river Ganga, it helped him to improve his practicing skill, okay, which is, and then after he invent different rags, okay, which were earlier considered to be beyond, means out of the range of the Shehnai. Earlier what happened, the Shehnai players, they only play the Shehnai, but they don't play those rags and all, they don't even know. So he invented those rags. I think all of you know what is rag, right? There are 7 ragas, Sare Gama Padha Nisa, which you all of you know, right? And from where this Sare Gama Padha Nisa came, this all came from the sounds of natural, from our nature, from the flowing water, from the sound of the bird. This Sare Gama Padha Nisa, all this one 7, what we can say, 7 tones, this all came. Okay, so at the age of 14, Bismillah accompanied his uncle to the Allahabad Music Conference. So one day he got an opportunity to go to Allahabad Music Conference, all of you know. So he accompanied his uncle, and at the end of the recital, at the end of the conference, Ustad Fayyaz Khan, he patted the young boy, means he patted Bismillah Khan and said that work hard and you shall make it. He said him that you work hard and one day will come when you will do it. This is again another important sentence next with whatever is given here, that with the opening of the All India Radio in Lucknow in 1938, so when All India Radio opened in Lucknow, Khan's big break, means from that time his life changes. Okay, he soon become an often heard Shehnai player on radio, and then after he got the opportunity to play
Shehnai on radio, and in this way people come to know about this maestro, Shehnai maestro. When India gained independence, this is again very important paragraph. When India gained independence, that is on 15 August 1947, at the time Bismillah Khan, he became the first Indian forward, become the first Indian to greet the nation with his Shehnai. So that such a big day for him also, right? So Bismillah Khan was the first Indian to greet the nation with his Shehnai, and then after he poured each and every ones who are present in that he poured his heart out into Rag Kafi from the Red Fort to an audience which included Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, who later gave his famous Tryst with Destiny speech. So he poured each and every one who are there, okay, in the Red Fort by playing Rag Kafi. So Rag Kafi is the name of one of the Rag, okay. So he played Rag Kafi from the Red Fort to all the audience, and in the audience who was also there, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru was also there, who later gave his famous speech, that is Tryst with Destiny. And then Bismillah Khan has given many memorable performances both in India and abroad. And Bismillah Khan, he has given many memorable performance not only in India but out of India, that is abroad also. So his first trip abroad was to Afghanistan. So keep this in mind. His first trip, performance trip, okay, was to Afghanistan, where King Zahir Shah was so taken in by the maestro that he gifted him priceless Persian carpet and other souvenirs. So Zahir Khan, the king of Afghanistan, he was so much influenced by his Shehnai, this one music, that he gifted him a priceless Persian carpet and then other souvenirs. Souvenirs means here giving the things given in memory of a place, person or event, okay. The king of Afghanistan was not only the one to be fascinated with Bismillah Khan, not only the king of Afghanistan, that is Zahir Khan, was fascinated, but also film directors like Vijay Bhatt was also very impressed after hearing Bismillah Khan's play at a festival, okay, where he saw his play at a festival, and then after he made a film and he named the film after the instrument that is called Goonj Uthi Shehnai, okay. Let's move to next page, and that is page number 24. And then after that film, the Goonj Uthi Shehnai was a hit, okay, and one of the Bismillah Khan's composition, and in that film the song were all Bismillah Khan's composition. The Dil Ka Khilona Hai Toot Gaya turned out to be a nationwide chartbuster. Nationwide chartbuster means it became very famous. Despite this huge success in the celluloid world, Bismillah Khan venture in film music were limited into Vijay Bhatt's Goonj Uthi Shehnai and Vikram Srinivas Kannada venture, that is Sanadhi Appanna. So he had, but wherever he had only done 2 films, okay, that is Vijay Bhatt Goonj Uthi Shehnai and Vikram Srinivas Kannada film, that is Sanadhi Appannam, okay. And at the time of celluloid, here celluloid world means old fashioned way of referring to film, old fashioned way. I think old films, the way you have seen old movies, so that is the celluloid world at the time, black and white world. So in that world, Bismillah Khan only limited himself up to the 2, even after great success, he limited himself to up to 2 movie. And what he said that I just can't come in term with the artificiality and glamour in the film world. So he can't go with his view is that he can't go with the artificial world, glamour world of the movie. Obviously movies, films, world are artificial world, you can say glamour world or artificial world. So he cannot stay in this kind of world. So that's why he only, even with a great success also, he had limited himself up to the 2 movies, okay. And he did not, even after also he got offered with so many movies or so many movie song compositions, then also he denied, okay. Awards and recognitions came thick and fast. So after that, awards and recognitions also came very very thick and fast means quickly, okay, and lots of. Bismillah Khan became the first Indian to be invited to perform at the prestigious Lincoln Center Hall in the United States of America. So, Bismillah Khan was the first Indian who was invited to perform his Shehnai at the Cannes Art Festival and in the Osaka Trade Fair. These are the world exposition, okay. So well known did he become internationally that an auditorium in Tehran was named after him. So internationally also he becomes so famous that an auditorium which is in Tehran was also named after him. What is the name of that auditorium? Tahar Mosik Ustad Bismillah Khan. So national awards like Padma Shri, Padma Vibhushan and Padma Bhushan. Yeah, Padma Bhushan and Padma Vibhushan were conferred on him. Okay, and in 2001 Ustad Bismillah Khan was awarded with the highest civilian award, that is the Bharat Ratna. So he was awarded with all these 4 awards, okay. With the coveted award resting on his chest and his eyes glinting with rare happiness, he said, "All I would like to say is, teach your children music. This is the Hindustan's richest tradition. Even the West is now coming to learn our music." So while he was receiving those honorary awards at the time, what he say to the people that teach your children music, because our this is our Hindustan's richest culture, richest tradition, and even the West means the foreigners, the outsiders, they are also coming to learn our music, okay. In spite of having traveled all over the world, Khan Sahab, as he is fondly called, is exceedingly fond of Banaras and Dumrao, and they remain for him the most wonderful town of the world. So Bismillah Khan, in his lifetime, he had traveled a lot of places, okay, in India and abroad India, and he is also known as fondly called Khan Sahab. People used to say him Khan Sahab also, and even after traveling all over the world, okay. So what happened? One day, a student of his once wanted him to head a Shehnai school in the USA also. Okay, his student want him to open a Shehnai school in USA, and the student promised that he will recreate the atmosphere of Banaras by replicating the temples. He said that I will make the exact temple of Banaras in USA. Just I want you to come to USA and to teach here. Okay, open a school here. Then after Khan Sahab, he asked him, okay, you can easily replicate the temples, okay, of Banaras and Dumrao, but would you be able to transport river Ganga as well? He liked river Ganga also, because these are the places which is his favorite place where he would like to practice. These are the places which inspire him to invent new ragas. So that is why he said that, can you transport river Ganga as well in USA? Then later he is remembered to have said, that is why whenever I am in foreign country. So later he always used to say to all his students, to all the people, that whenever I am in foreign country, I always keep yearning to see Hindustan. And while he is in Mumbai, that is in Hindustan, he only think of Banaras and the holy Ganga. And while he is in Banaras, then he missed the unique mutt of Dumrao. So Banaras, Dumrao and Ganga, holy Ganga, these 3 are his most favorite places in the world, okay. Then the last paragraph of this Ustad Bismillah Khan's life is a perfect example of the rich cultural heritage of India. So it is obvious, as all of you now know, that Ustad Bismillah Khan's life is a perfect example of our rich cultural heritage of our India. And he was a very devout Muslim. Devout Muslim means who follow the rules and regulations of their community very, very well. Okay. Instead of being a devout Muslim, it is very, very good to see that how effortlessly he play Shehnai every morning at the Kashi Vishwanath temple. That is a very fascinating thing to see about Bismillah Khan. Okay. So Bismillah Khan, he passed away on 21 August 2006 at the age of 90 after a prolonged illness, and he was given a state funeral and the government of India declared one day of national mourning. So he passed away on 21 August 2006 At the time he was 90, and then he was suffering from prolonged illness. Okay, and then after the government of India declared one day of state funeral, one day of national mourning for him. So this is all about Bismillah Khan. I think you learn about the two great personality of in the field of music, that is Evelyn Glennie and Ustad Bismillah Khan. So this is all for today. Thank you.